Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most important concepts in modern JavaScript, async and await. If you're a complete beginner and asynchronous programming feels confusing, don't worry, you're not alone. We're going to break it down step by step with easy examples so it finally makes sense. Let's start with the big question. What does asynchronous mean? In JavaScript, some operations take time, like fetching data from a server, reading a file, or waiting for a user action. If we made JavaScript wait for these, our whole app would freeze. That's where asynchronous code comes in. It lets the program continue running while waiting for something else to finish. In this code, setTimeout waits 2 seconds before running. But JavaScript doesn't wait. It moves on and prints, "This runs first." That's asynchronous behavior, starting something that finishes later. Before async await, we used promises to handle asynchronous operations. A promise is an object that represents a future value. It either resolves or rejects. Fake fetch returns a promise. After 2 seconds, it resolves with the message "data received." We use then to say what to do when it finishes. To show that promises take time, let's directly try to see the response without using .then. We remove the then chaining and directly store the result of the promise in variable response. Let's log it to the console. Okay, so the console shows a promise that is pending and not the actual data. This is because of the asynchronous behavior of JavaScript. Since we don't use the .then, JavaScript does not wait for the promise to resolve and we get no data. This is important to understand that we have to wait for promises to resolve, otherwise it will lead to bugs in your code. Now using .then works, but it can get messy with multiple steps. Async await is built on top of promises and makes asynchronous code look and behave like regular synchronous code. Here, getData is marked as async, which lets us use the await keyword inside it. Await pauses the function until fake fetch is done. It's like saying, hold on, wait for the result, then continue. Let's look at a real-world use case using the Fetch API to get data from a public API. Here, we fetch user data from an API. First, fetch returns a promise that resolves to a response. Then we await the .json call to get the actual data. We wrap everything in a try-catch block to handle any errors that may happen during the fetch. So what happens under the hood? When you mark a function async, JavaScript wraps it in a promise. When you use await, it waits until the promise resolves, then gives you the result. This makes the code easier to write, read, and debug compared to callbacks or chained then calls. Let's quickly cover a few common mistakes. You can only use await inside an async function. Forgetting to handle errors with try-catch. Assuming await pauses the whole program, it only pauses that function. To wrap up, async marks a function that returns a promise await pauses execution until a promise resolves. This helps you write cleaner, more readable async code. Use try-catch to handle errors. Works great with APIs, databases, and file systems. Now that you understand async await, start using it in your projects to simplify your asynchronous logic. If this helped you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more beginner-friendly tutorials. Drop your questions in the comments. I respond to every one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.